please encourage Rebecca Sherrick and whoever else to make my opera, to fund my opera, fund me, so I can give it to the school, because I know that that's one of the big things that's the difference between the other West Coast Crimmies and me, is music. It was rock and roll, it was my love of the Beatles, and then how that went on to all the other authentic groups that I loved, versus my sister and my brother and the rest of my family, and not knowing anything about the music that was anti-war. And even though everything got kind of lost in a big morass of a lot of stuff happening, it was us, my generation, that had the right idea, that was pointing the right way, that should have just taken control. The way you guys have to now, you have to take my kind of philosophy and love that the West Coast Crimmies should have had, and I know now, knowing Martha, because living in the middle of the country now, I know the other side of the family much better than I ever did, and it does have to do with, well, it has to do with empathy, but Uncle Jim was right, always right. My going to Aurora College was the biggest thing that ever happened to me in my life. And the fact that I was in Rube Tubin my last semester, I didn't have to take any but one class. I worked, I took a class, and I was in Rube Tubin, and Rube Tubin took up more of my time between that and practice, which I'm always sitting around playing a guitar, well, especially in those days, well, yeah, especially in those days. Please, it's all I've got, but from that could come my guitar invention, which is a real thing, but the only way I can do that is with the right kind of marketing. I don't have 10 years to build up a product now, thanks to having a bad life, but I could have been Sam Maloof of the Teva Sandal, and then the follow-up would have been my guitar invention, and then my wife would have been a famous clothing designer, Teresa Ann Taylor. So the whole thing really requires a rock opera, and it requires Joyce E. Dudley, the district attorney of Santa Barbara, to understand what we really have to do is go after the Patriot Act, which was just reaffirmed by a bunch of Dems and Republicans, of course Republicans. They gave us this whole thing. They gave us the return to the Gilded Age, but you guys gotta learn about that stuff. So learn specifically about how the hippies were right about everything. And we can start there, and we gotta talk about the CIA. How can we shut down the CIA? Joyce Dudley, district attorney. I gotta get mid-level DOJ people. Mid-level. I'm mid-level. I love this country, always did, always cared about it. They always understood, like Uncle Jim, how the middle class got built up, how it got squashed by Ronald Reagan and the other commies, because remember, Ronald Reagan was not just America's answer to Adolf Hitler. He was also a commie, because they built up China, all commie. They were the worst commies. We were told to fear, remember, Rebecca Sherrick told to fear commies, worst of all. That was all phony, but they built up China on purpose. The no-good Republicans, they're all commies. Walmart, commie. Amazon, bad commie, with a big Nazi, Jeff Bezos, right? CIA, Nazi, SS came from the Nazis. You know, this has to be done here, folks. The OSS was the CIA came from. Please encourage everyone. If you got money, encourage yourself to give it to me by early, a week before Christmas at least, so I can get my friend out of homelessness, help her as any way that I possibly can. I got to get in touch with her again, but I got to get in touch with good news. You guys got to help me. Everything I'm doing, I'm trying to do the right thing, and I don't think you're going to hear enough people like me, Jimmy Dore, the people that I adore, like Jimmy Dore. You gotta help me. Aurora University, can you help with my adversity? I'm a criminal who loves you. Can you love me too? I pierced my ear, the world followed. Now I say, war is nothing hallowed. I just need you.